Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to bring the 7-game NBA preseason slate on Friday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking down NBA, NFL, PGA, and esports, daily fantasy sports sites. Before we get into the video, guys, thank you so much for the support. It has been crazy this last few weeks, especially with the NBA preseason. We have basically hit over 800 concurrent viewers in the last 3 live streams. So thank you. If you guys do enjoy all this content, would really appreciate it if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload videos, you know when I go live. We have a nice 7-game slate. I'll be live 1 hour before lock on my YouTube channel to go over everything, answer all you guys' questions. So make sure to check out the live stream. Also, if you guys cannot watch these videos, I do upload an Apple Podcast. The link is in the description below to the DK DFS show. But with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So before we talk about players and their prices, let's look back at Thursday. And just want to warn you, 2 minutes. 2 minutes of this was one of the most tilting slates of DFS. So let's just take a look at a couple quotes. I want to review a couple quotes. This quote from Steve Kerr says, Steph Curry will likely play the entire first quarter and 6 minutes in the second quarter. See where we go from there. So I think, people with a lot of money on the line, reasonable people be, there's a pretty good chance Steph doesn't play the second half. I mean, why would he say that? We'll see where we go from there. And then, of course, what do we get? Steph Curry plays the entire third quarter and shoots 100%. And he's 40% owned in the slam. Okay, that's one thing. Karl Anthony Towns, 35 fantasy points in 20 minutes. Picks up 5 fouls in the preseason. The 5th foul, complete BS. They challenge it, somehow stands. I'm watching that game, I'm just like, is this really happening? So I figure, I'm done. I get a low-owned cat. He was on pace to absolutely smash. He gets one more shift and literally I think does nothing in 6 minutes. I don't think he picked up a stat somehow. I think because he was afraid of fouling out. So that's number 2. Number 3, where are we? This. Marvin Bagley will start and get increased minutes, according to Luke Walton. Thanks for the extra 30 seconds tonight, Luke. And then lastly, I don't have the quote, but Harden, they said he will play a little more than the 20 minutes. I'm thinking, 22, 23. Plays basically the entire third quarter, 28 minutes. I don't know, some of you guys are like, DK, why are you freaking out so much? Well, minutes are everything in the NBA. And swings like that are huge, are enormous. So that's it for the tilting. Again, guys, DFS is it can take a toll on you mentally, especially stuff like this. When you're making educated decisions, you're making decisions based off the information that you see, and you get stuff like this happens. It's super frustrating, really frustrating. But that's how it goes sometimes. And like I said last night, all positives are there's always another slate. So we can take a look back at my lineup really quick. Also, Minnesota, they said they're going to run it. Not a dress rehearsal, but close to it. And they didn't play in the fourth quarter. So, Luka was the absolute chalk. You should have played him, but they didn't play in the fourth quarter. That's another thing. So, a ton of things here. I'm in the edge of the cash right now in the slam, but I'm not going to finish in the cash because Bojan's 10% owned. People are going to pass me. So, I'm not going to end up cashing here. I'll move it out of the way real quick, so you guys can see where everyone scored. I want Luka, Bogdan, Beasley, Rudy Gay, Capella, John Morant, Bagley, and Towns. I made a 2v2 swap that really hurt. And what I did was I had Anthony Edwards here and Dorian Finney-Smith. I swapped to get Rudy Gay. The reason I swapped to get Rudy Gay was because the Spurs said they're going to play more minutes. And Rudy Gay is a really good point per minute guy. He had played 25 minutes the last couple of games. And I think he played about that. He actually had a below average game for his standards for playing that many minutes. So, and then Bagley, that was, the chalk in the slam, 61% owned. I didn't have a good feeling about it. That's why I had Dorian Finney-Smith in there. I felt a little bit more comfortable with his minutes. I even made a tweet about it. I was like, is 30 minutes out of Dorian Finney-Smith better than 20 minutes out of Bagley? Well, yeah, that swap's going to end up costing me like $1,000. So another just, but the core was Luka, who again didn't play in the fourth. That was tilting, but he was the absolute chalk. Malik Beasley was huge. This was the key. 30% owned, 40 fantasy points. And he didn't, it's not like they played him a ton of minutes. I think he only played like low 20s minutes. So he absolutely smashed. Told you guys like he would be the number 2 in the offense when D'Lo was out. So that was huge. Capella was fine at 5.5K, 27 fantasy points. That's solid. Then Towns, again, I told you guys it was a 50-50 there with him and Vucevic. I felt a little bit more comfortable with Vucevic minutes. I probably should have just went Vooch. But yeah, Towns didn't do anything. 5 fouls. That was tilting. Didn't do anything when he came back in. So I really thought, in a moment about an hour ago, I had a really good shot to win the slam, and I'm going to end up not cashing. So, all right, that's enough. That was about 5 minutes. So sorry, I went a little bit longer there, but just wanted to get that out of the way. Again, guys, DFS, it can take a toll on you mentally. So got to try to stay positive. I do try to stay positive on this channel, but wanted to get that little bit of tilting out of the way. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about this slate. So 7 games. We'll start with Miami, Toronto. Miami, we did get news. I don't have it up on Twitter, but they said they're going to rest the veterans again. So I assume it's the same thing with Jimmy, Iguodala, and Goran Dragic being not playing. Never mind. Dragic expects to play, but I don't think he'll play a ton. We'll see. Again, this is something to monitor. I don't think Jimmy plays. I don't think Iguodala plays. Dragic looking like he's going to play. If Dragic doesn't play too, if they rest the same 3 guys they did last time, then I really like Nunn again at 4.7. He had an absolutely terrible shooting day, but played over 30 minutes, was a super high usage guy in the offense. Also, Hero would be viable. He got good runs. So those are the 2 guys I'm looking to at the moment. It's Nunn, it's Hero at 4.7 and 5.5 respectively, but dependent on news here. Everyone else is kind of stayaways. I don't think I get to anyone else, to be honest. So let's move on to Toronto. Toronto, another team at the moment, not a ton of interest. Lowry, I don't think he's going to play in this one, but we'll see. They said they're going to limit his minutes in the regular season. Siakam, if we go to Toronto, Siakam played 23 minutes. Fred VanVleet, 22 minutes. The rookie Malachi Flynn got 20. Again, they're just really spreading out the minutes. Terrence Davis, 15. Boucher only played 14. So not a team like right now I'm very interested in. But if the starters' minutes go up, then like Fred VanVleet's a guy that's way too cheap at 6'3". If I know like Fred VanVleet's going to play close to 30 minutes, I really like him at that price. But at the moment, if we get similar minutes again, I'm probably going to look elsewhere. And I guess, yeah, I should have went over here for Miami. This was in the last game. We got Nunn, 32 minutes. Hero, 28 minutes. Everyone else kind of spread out. So those would be the 2 guys, but we got to monitor the news there with Miami. And again, Toronto at the moment, not a ton. Like, I don't think we have to go Boucher. He's a good point per minute guy, but right now he's only playing like 14 minutes. So it's just, I would rather look elsewhere. Let's move on to Cleveland and New York. So they just played each other a couple days ago. On the Cleveland side, minutes-wise, Drummond only played 21 minutes. That was a little tilting, to be honest. I thought he would play more. They had a ton of injuries. Dotson played 26 minutes. Garland, 23. They did kind of spread them out. Okoro, the rookie, played 30 minutes. Thonmaker, 26. So we'll see. Another situation we'll have to monitor. Love, Sexton, Porter Jr., all up in the air. We'll see if they're all out again. I do like Drummond at the top, but only 21 minutes. Like, that's not great. So hopefully we get some sort of clarity if the minutes will go up. We probably won't. But yeah, 21 minutes is, I would probably look elsewhere for other studs if we only get 21 minutes again from Drummond. The value, yeah, again, potentially like guy like Garland, potentially a guy like Okoro. That's probably where I look if all those other guys are out for Cleveland. Let's move on to New York. So New York, there's a couple plays I like again, and it's just due to minutes. It's RJ Barrett, it's Mitchell Robinson, it's Julius Randle. Julius Randle played 28 minutes, Mitchell Robinson 32. He had 5 fouls and somehow didn't foul out. He had played like 14 straight minutes with 5 fouls and didn't foul out. RJ Barrett with 33 minutes. Obi Toppin did get a little extended a bit, 31, but not overly excited about him. So I do like Randle at 6'4". Again, this offense, it kind of runs through him. RJ Barrett. These guys are a little bit underpriced. Like 4.8 for RJ Barrett. It's just too cheap if we're going to get over 30 minutes. So I do like RJ Barrett a good amount once again. I do like Julius Randle a good amount once again. I assume we probably get similar minutes, which is 30-ish, 30 to 35, I think is a fair guess. Now, Alfred Payton, the minutes went back up for him. He played 25 minutes. I think that's fine, but I'd rather I feel more comfortable with Randall and RJ Barrett's minutes. Obi Toppin 5-2 is okay too, but I probably look elsewhere. Now, Nerlens Noel, not expected to play on Friday. Will probably be out. So Mitchell Robinson at 4.6K. That is just way, way too cheap. He played 32 minutes that last game, but I want to bring it up again. Be warned. He is always in foul trouble. The start of the game, he picked up 2 fouls in 2 minutes. So, there's a realistic chance he could, foul out in, 15 minutes. But if you can just stay out of foul trouble and we can get 30-plus minutes out of Mitchell Robinson, he's, one of the best, if not the best value on the slate. Really. He's an amazing point-per-minute guy. Block shots, steals. There's a chance he gets in some foul trouble here. But 4.6K, I'm willing to take the risk. That is just too cheap if we get over 30 minutes from Mitchell Robinson. So, yeah, there's 3 plays I really like in the Knicks. Randall, RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, 3 of my favorite plays at the moment. Let's move on to Brooklyn and Boston. So Brooklyn in the last game, starters did not play a ton. KD did play 24 minutes. Was a little bit underwhelming in that time. Kyrie only played the first half 17 minutes. They spread out the minutes for everyone else. So KD at 8.7, Kyrie at 8.5 at the moment are fades for me, but things could change. I feel a little bit more confident with starters minutes elsewhere. So not really looking to KD, not really looking to Kyrie. LeVert's back. That's another higher usage guy in this offense. Dinwiddie's at 4.9. He would probably be my favorite play at the moment for Brooklyn. How many minutes did he play that last game? He played 25 minutes. So I think Dinwiddie for his price is the guy I would look to, but really, there's just not a ton I'm super, super excited about here. DeAndre Jordan played 17. Not great. I would rather just play Mitchell Robinson at a similar price. So really, yeah, Brooklyn, kind of a team I will be fading unless we get some news that changes some things. On Boston's side, it's kind of the same thing. Tatum at 8.4, Brown at 6.8. It's just fine. They played low 20s minutes. 22 for Brown, 22 for Tatum, 22 for Smart. Yeah, just okay, sure. I prefer spend ups elsewhere. So same thing with Brooklyn. At the moment, I'm just not really looking to the Boston spend ups. I'm not going to get to Smart at 6.1. Tice is back, so kind of takes Robert Williams out of play. I still think Robert Williams probably plays about 15 minutes. I mean, you can still go there because he's a good point per minute guy, but I don't know if you have to do it on the slate, if that makes sense. And that's really it. So, yeah, Boston, kind of a fade as well for me. Let's move on to Milwaukee and New Orleans. So, Milwaukee is a team I feel pretty good about if we get similar minutes like last game. 30 for Middleton, 27 for Giannis, 22 for Brolo, 30 for Drew, and then they kind of spread it out with everyone else. So I'm not really looking to the bench guys. Really, the guy I'm looking to is Giannis at 9.6. If we get close to 30 minutes, I think he's one of the top plays of the slate. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's against the Pelicans, too, who play no defense. Really like Giannis, assuming we get those 30 minutes again. Drew Holiday, revenge game narrative. I would just rather get to Giannis for a little bit more. Again, he takes a back seat offensively. His stat line wasn't bad, 11, 6, and 4, but I don't know if I want to pay almost 8K for Drew. I think I prefer some other stars in other games. Kind of the same thing with Middleton. They're fine options, but it really, for me, I'm prioritizing Giannis, assuming we get similar minutes. Bobby Portis is a high usage guy off the bench. Had a double-double in the first game. Was subpar the second game. Had 12 points. I think only 1 rebound. Again, you can go to him. I don't necessarily know if we have to on the slate, but is playable. Again, I assume we get about 20 minutes. Let's talk about the Pelicans now. So the Pelicans are a team I have a good amount of interest in. If we look at the minutes of last game, 33 for Zion, 31 for Brandon Ingram, 19 for Steven Adams, 33 for Josh Hart, 31 for Lonzo Ball. And then a couple guys on the bench, Jackson Hayes, 25, NAW. You guys know I love playing NAW, 21 minutes, a high usage guy. But we do have Eric Bledsoe back, so I think that kind of takes a hit to everyone in this offense a little bit. It's a revenge game for Eric Bledsoe. Let's talk about him first. At 5.1K, expected to play. We'll see about the minutes. If we get news he's going to play 30 minutes, then I really like him at this price. That's just too cheap for a guy that is a pretty high usage guy. I know we'll be playing alongside Zion, alongside Brandon Ingram, but it would just be a minutes thing. So if Bledsoe plays 30-ish minutes, I think he's a really good option. Brandon Ingram at 7.9 had an amazing game, went for 45 fancy points in 31 minutes. I think he's a solid spend up too. again, if we get over 30 minutes, he looks good. Zion at 6'2", that's just way too underpriced. Again, I think Zion's one of the top plays of the slate. Again, we got 33 minutes from Zion, so really, really like Zion. I do prefer him to Ingram. I think you can play both if you want to. Steven Adams at 4'8". We did only get 19 minutes from Steven Adams, so we'll see. If we get news that the minutes are going to go up, then I actually think he's a pretty solid value play. So something to monitor there. I think Josh Hart probably moves to the bench with Bledsoe available. I got like NAW. Again, he's a high usage guy, but with Bledsoe now there, I think the minutes do go down. He played, if we look at that last game, he played 21 minutes. I would assume that probably goes down to maybe the 15 range. Again, similar, like a similar play to Boucher, a similar play to Bobby Portis, right? Those are high usage guys, but I don't expect a ton of minutes for really any of them. So not saying they're out of play, but don't think they're like you had to jam them in for value. Let's move on to Chicago and OKC. So Chicago is a team I think you can feel pretty good about. Starters from getting a good run. High 20s minutes. Kobe White 2 games ago played over 30 minutes. The offense, like I said, it runs through White. It runs through Zach LaVine. So 7-6 for Zach LaVine, 7-2 for Kobe White is just too cheap. In this matchup against OKC, OKC is a very young team. They don't play a ton of defense, so I like both these guys a good amount. And the winning lineup a couple of slates ago had them both in their lineup. So you can definitely play both. I don't think you have to, obviously, but both LaVine and Kobe White look good. LaVine probably still slightly the better point per minute guy, but I expect a few more minutes from Kobe White. So another, again, 50-50 decision there with LaVine and Kobe White if you're going to make me pick. Markkanen, like I said, I'll continue to pass on him. I'm not going to go to Williams either. Otto Porter Jr. at 5'2". He came out the bench. I actually kind of prefer him coming out the bench. He had 12, 4, and 8 in 22 minutes. I actually think he's in play. He's a small forward eligible, and small forward usually pretty weak. So, yeah, Otto Porter Jr. actually is a decent value play there at 5'2". Wendell Carter Jr. at 4'7", also a little underpriced. He played 25 minutes the last game, had 6, 6, and 3, not great, but 4'7", that is pretty cheap for a guy that, probably gets 25-ish minutes. And below that, there's probably not a lot. I mean, how many minutes did Arcidiacono play? He played 22 minutes, again, 7, 4, and 2. I expect, is Satoransky confirmed out? Where is Satoransky? He is confirmed out, so I expect Arcidiacono to kind of run the second unit. He is in play at the flat min price if you need someone super cheap. All right, let's move on to OKC. My favorite team. Love the OKC's coach. Yeah. If you guys missed that, or let's go to this game. Last night, I had SGA in my lineup. Didn't play the second half. Again, went over that, how tilting that was. I was about 15 points back of first place in the slam last night. So SGA, I no one above me at SGA. If he plays that second half, I have a pretty good chance of winning that. So, yeah, back-to-back nights of a lot of tilting for me. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is just, I could not believe it that they rested the starters in the second half because, like I said, this is such a young team besides Horford. They have like no chemistry playing together, and they were the only team last night that did not, or 2 nights ago, I don't know, I'm losing track of time, guys, that did not play the starters into the second half. So, yeah, SGA is, let's go back to his pricing. He's at 5.7K. It's a risk because the first couple of games, these starters have not played the second half. So what do we get here? Well, there's probably a decent chance they don't play the second half again, which is just blows my mind. But if he does, if he plays the second half at 5.7K, that is too cheap. He had, 22 fancy points in the first half? Again, he plays that second half, probably goes for over 30 pretty easily, right? So we'll see. Hopefully we get some sort of clarity. We probably won't. Again, this OKC's coach, the new coach, is on the list, like Steve Kerr tonight. So, yeah, hard to say. Horford absolutely smashed. I told you guys he was one of my favorite contrarian plays. Yeah, it was yesterday. And he only played, I knew this was a risk, but he only played 15 minutes. He had 15, 7, and 1, again, 28 fancy points. He's at 4.8K. If I know Al Horford plays in the second half, I'm playing him for sure. He's my favorite value. Him, Mitchell Robinson are probably my favorite value plays. But same thing I'll say about SGA. Tread with caution here after what we've seen for the first couple of OKC games. And then Bazley. He's the last guy I'll list a 4-6. In the first half, that last game, he had 7, 2, and 2. Again, he's kind of the number 3 in this offense behind SGA, behind Horford, but I think he would also be viable for value as well. So those are the 3 guys I'm looking to. And again, risk reward, there's still a chance they don't play in the second half, but if they do, I think probably a couple of those guys crush their salary. Let's 2 games left. Portland, Denver. So last game, Portland starters got good run. Lillard and CJ got 30 minutes. Nurkic 20, Jones Jr. 24, Covington 27. So looking at the prices, Lillard at 8.3, CJ at 7.1. If we get similar minutes, I do think Damian Lillard's a pretty solid play. Also don't mind CJ, but probably would prefer Lillard. Nurkic at 6.2, they've limited him to 20 minutes. Now, can he still get you there in 20 minutes? Yes, but I think I prefer some other centers. We'll see. If the minutes do go up, if we get like 25 minutes out of Nurkic, then I think you can make the argument to play him. With Melo, Covington, Jones Jr., again, those guys kind of take a back seat when Lillard and CJ play a lot more, so not super interested there. Kanter's the last guy I'll mention. He played 24 minutes. That's really, really good for Enes Kanter. 14, 4, and 2. Again, he's a good high-usage guy, good point per minute guy. So if we get similar minutes like last game, I think Enes Kanter is one of the better value plays there at that price. Giles, again, the minutes went down on him. He only played 12, so not super interested there unless we get news of some guys resting. On the Denver side, also got some pretty decent minutes for these starters. So mid-20s minutes, Jokic 25, Jamal Murray 24, Millsap surprisingly played the most at 27. The guys I'm looking to, it's Jokic, it's Jamal Murray. That's about it. We'll get to one bench guy I'll mention who had a nice bounce back at low ownership. But yeah, Jokic at 8.8, played 25 minutes. If we get similar minutes or even more, I think that's a nice nice price for him. He could definitely crush in that time. 2 games ago, we went for over 50 fantasy points. So yeah, Jokic and it's Jamal Murray. 5.6K, that is just too cheap. It's just too cheap for Jamal Murray. He had a nice night that last night out. Went for 16, 5, and 5. Again, we know we can get hot in a short amount of time. So I do like the price a good amount here on Jamal Murray if we get similar or even more minutes. And then Jokic is a spend up, I do like as well. With Porter Jr., with Barton, with Millsap, Gary Harris, I'm not really looking to them. Again, it's Murray, it's Jokic for me. And the last guy I will mention off the bench is PJ Dozier. Had a really nice night. Won some people some GPPs last night. He had 18 minutes, 15, 6, and 3. He's that type of guy, right? He's a guy that can put up a ton of fantasy points in a short amount of time. So I think you can look to him as a value play off the bench. But I would put him in the same category as NAW, the same category as Boucher, the same category as Bobby Portis. They're going to play limited minutes. They're great point per minute guys, but do we need them when we have guys like Mitchell Robinson, when we have RJ Barrett on the slate, when we have, the OKC guys, if you feel good about them playing the second half, right? So that's a situation that's a decision you have to make. Lastly, Lakers, Suns. So Lakers, what we knew was the starters were only going to play the first half. 80, LeBron, 15 and 18 minutes. If we get similar minutes for them, I have absolutely no interest in them at 9-2 and 9-1. Now, if they do get extended a bit, then I think you can make the argument. Let's see. Play near the same minutes during Friday's match. Okay, so I have no interest in AD, no interest in LeBron. They're fades. Schroeder at 7-3, got banged up, ankle injury. Got to monitor this. I think I will say the exact same thing as I said last slate. THT, Kyle Kuzma, these guys, they're not going to be super productive in the first half, right? I think Horton Tucker played 8 or so minutes, maybe had like 8 fantasy points, but it's the second half when they're going to smash. And THT finished with 30 fantasy points at low ownership. So I'll say the same thing. Horton Tucker, Kuzma, they will get some run in the first half, but it's not going to be super, super productive minutes. In the second half is where they can crush. So I do like THT. I do like Kuzma. I prefer the price on THT for the discount. Harrell at 6.4 is still solid too, but I think that's just a little bit pricey. I feel better about some other plays at similar prices. Like I would just rather play Ayton on the opposite side of the ball for a little bit more. So that's really it for me on the Lakers. Got to monitor KCP status too. He was ruled out that last game. We'll see if he does play. again, him, Schroeder, got to monitor that with their news. If they're both out, again, THT, Kuzma should get some decent run in the first half, and then that's when they take over, is in the second half, playing with the backups. Lastly, we'll talk about Phoenix. So Phoenix starters got decent run, 25 for Booker, 25 for Ayton. They were actually both in foul trouble. They missed out on a few minutes. Booker had 4 fouls in the first half, Ayton had 3, and they missed out on about 3 or 4 minutes in the first half. So probably would have played closer to 30. Booker's at 8.6. At that price, I do prefer some other spend-ups. I would rather get to Giannis at a similar price. I'd rather get some other guys as well. CP3 at 8K is a fade for me. Ayton, mentioned him as one of my favorite plays last slate. He crushed at low ownership, 21, 9, and 4 steals. And when he did crush was in the second half, like I said, against Montrezl Harrell. Marc Gasol, a decent defender. So in the first half, he's probably not going to have an amazing stat line. In the second half, against a guy like Harrell is when he can crush. So kind of like a similar situation to THT, right? I don't think Ayton's going to be super, super productive in the first half, but in the second half, that's when he can crush going up, matched up against a guy like Harrell. So 6'9", don't think Ayton's a must play, but I think he is solid there in the mid-range. And below that, I don't really have a ton of interest. I'm not getting into Bridges or Crowder or Campaign. I think, did Javon Carter? Yeah, for people that played him 2 slates ago, you're probably really tilted about this stat line. Javon Carter had a nice night, 15, 2, and 2. I know, again, he was like 50% owned a couple nights ago when he put up like 4 fancy points. Where's Javon Carter? He's the min price again. So the floor is low, but this guy can put up a decent outing, playable. But yeah, that's really it for the last game, and that's going to do it for the video today, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, I'd really appreciate it if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when to upload videos, so you know when to go live. And for this slate, 7 games, I'll be live 1 hour before lock. Make sure to check out the live stream. And let's aim for 300 likes on this video, guys. If you do enjoy, would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Thanks again. I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow on the live stream.